Right. Good morning. I'm Pamela Manners, Chair of the Commission on School Accreditation. This regular scheduled meeting of the Commission on School Accreditation is being held today, Thursday, April 4th, 2024, at 8:30 a.m. via teleconference from the Senator Gray Harris Boardroom, 359 Northwest Street, Jackson, Mississippi. The meeting is being live streamed via the MDE YouTube channel. An audio recording is being made of this meeting, and minutes of this meeting will be recorded. As I call the names of the commission members, please state the location of your presence for this meeting. Dr. Lauren Bailey.
Present, Pearl, Mississippi.
Kelly Barfield. Anthony Bryant.
Present, Tupelo, Mississippi.
Thank you. Dr. Carla Evers.
Present, Duckport, Mississippi.
Thank you. Reginald Goins.
Present, Sarah, Mississippi.
Thank you. Patrice Guilfoyle.
Present, Jackson, Mississippi.
Thank you. Dr. Tyler Hansford.
Present, Decatur, Mississippi.
Thank you. I'm Pam Manners, and I'm in Biloxi. Dr. Valencia Martin.
Present, Greenwood, Mississippi.
Thank you. Aisha Maxwell.
Present, Horn Lake, Mississippi.
Thank you. Brad Stevens. Sarah Wilborn.
Present, Ellisville, Mississippi.
All right.
And my apologies, yes, my apologies, this is Kelly Barfield, in Jersey City, New Jersey.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you. A quorum of the commission is present for the purpose of conducting this meeting. The meeting is called to order at 8:33 a.m. Commission members, you have received a copy of the agenda, and we do need to amend the agenda to remove item 7. Ms. Spivey is not able to attend this morning, so if you will just remove item 7. And at this time, I will entertain a motion for approval of the agenda with the exception of removing item number 7. And please identify yourself for the record as you make the motion. May I have a motion, please?
Carla Evers, I move to approve the amended agenda.
Thank you, Dr. Evers. May I have a second, please?
Dr. Valencia Martin, I second the motion.
All right, thank you. Is there any discussion? If not, then all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you. The motion carries. We're on to item 3, and that's the approval of the minutes of the February 1st, 2024 meeting of the Commission on School Accreditation. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to accept the minutes from the February 1st, 2024 meeting of the Commission on School Accreditation. And as you make the motion, please identify yourself. And may I have a motion, please?
Motion, Anthony Bryant.
Thank you, Mr. Bryant. May I have a second, please?
Second, Kelly Barfield.
And thank you, Ms. Barfield. And is there any discussion? All right, if not, then all those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Any opposed? All right, thank you. The motion carries.
Ms. Manners, Ms. Manners,
Yes.
before you move on, Brad Stevens was trying to get logged in. I'm just checking to see if he's on yet.
Okay.
Mr. Stevens, are you on yet? Okay, maybe not. I've offered to try to call him and get him logged in manually, but he hasn't responded that way either, so go ahead.
Okay, thank you. All right, we're on item number 4, which is a discussion item for the proposed revisions to the Mississippi Admin Code 7-24, Mississippi Public School Accountability Standards 2023, specifically business rules of the Mississippi Statewide Accountability System. And we're looking at Section 4, participation rates, Section 6, growth, Section 9, acceleration, Section 10, banking scores, and of course, subject area assessments taken before 10th grade, Section 11, comprehensive support and improvement schools, CSI, Section 12, targeted support and improvement schools, TSI, Section 13, additional targeted support and improvement schools, ATSI, and Section 22, schools without tested subjects or grades. And Mr. Alan Burrow will be presenting this information. Good morning, Mr. Burrow.
Good morning. I don't know if I'm talking. Don't know if you can see me or not, but I am in the boardroom sitting next to Dr. Malone. So this sounds like a lot of sections in the business rules that we're making changes to. It is, but it's not a lot of changes. There are a lot of updates. We do these updates annually to the business rules based on feedback we receive, questions that we receive, areas that we feel like there could be some clarification. And there are a couple of changes this year, which I will go over and let you know which ones are going to change our actual business practices. So I'll just run through these in order. So starting with Section 4, participation rates. This is not a change to the actual practices, but just an update to the business rules based on current practices. So, as you know, the ACT is one of the, or as you may know, the ACT is one of the assessments that is included in participation rates as a required assessment in high school. When this business rule was initially written, it was something that was being phased in, was subject to state funding. So there's some updates here just to say that the ACT is indeed part of the participation rates for high school. And then students enrolled in grades 3 through 8 with any month 8 enrollment will be included in the participation calculation for each required assessment in the school district of final enrollment in month 8. That is a current business practice, and we're just trying to make sure that that's clear in the business rules. So we include all students with month 8 enrollment in participation calculations for grades 3 through 8. And then we're striking 4.4.1 just to clean that up. There's just some old language that's not applicable anymore. And then again with Section 4.6, we've incorporated ACT in Section 4.4, so we're going to strike 4.6. Would you like me to do questions as we go, or when we get to the...
It's up to you.
Perhaps the questions as we go, it might be a little easier that way.
Okay. Do we have any questions?
Commission members, go ahead, Mr. Burrow.
Okay. Do we have any questions regarding Section 4? Okay. We'll move on to Section 6, which is growth. This section is a change to current business practices. So this is a result of an audit that the department went through with the Office of Inspector General relative to our Every Student Succeeds Act plan, our state plan under federal guidance or federal policy. And one of the things that we were told we could not do was allow for component scores to exceed the maximum allocated number of points for each of those components. And for growth, for example, a school without an EL progress measure, growth would be 100 points. We have bonus points, if you will, in the model for students who exceed growth expectations. They can earn a 1.25 for growth if a student exceeds growth expectations in the year. That can thus result in a score for growth for a school to exceed 100 points. So this wasn't really an issue early on when these rules were adopted, but more and more schools are exceeding the allocated points, for example, in growth of below 25. And the federal government essentially said that we cannot do that because we have to have weights applied to our accountability components. And if we don't have a limit on these, then that would shift the weighting of the model and would not be in compliance with our federal plan. So 6.2 specifies, well, we're striking out what was existing, saying that you could exceed 100 points for any of the 4 growth components, and we're saying, although this section allows for additional weight in the student growth calculation, no accountability component may exceed the maximum allocated points for the component. So that would just meet federal compliance. Is there any questions regarding section 6? All right, I will move to the next section, which is section 9, acceleration. This is another section, another accountability component that can exceed 100 points. So you'll see in section 9.3, we've added the statement a maximum of before 50 points, just to clarify that this component cannot exceed the allocated points. Let's see, 9.6 is a clarification based on feedback that the department received, just to clarify how additional weighting is applied when a student takes multiple dual credit or multiple courses, and there's additional weighting in the performance component of the calculation. Nothing changed with that section. Section 9 is a change. Section 9.9 is a change. This section was added in 2019 to adjust for the higher rigor of the AP assessment primarily. As you may know, several different types of courses, accelerated courses, are included in the acceleration component. There's a much higher pass rate, for example, with dual credit courses, around 95%, 96% pass rate, whereas with AP courses, the pass rate is about half of that. Well, roughly about half of that. So there was, we added additional weighting for certain courses in the accelerated component to adjust for that rigor. And last year, a state law was passed. It's section 37-106-93 that is a scholarship program for dual credit courses. And this language in this statute required that AP courses be weighted the same in the accountability model as dual credit courses. So that prevents us from keeping section 9.9. So this would then just revert back to the way the rules were prior to that change in 2019. We're just striking section 9.9, and all of the accelerated courses will be weighted equally in the accountability calculation for acceleration. Are there any questions about section 9?
This is Carla Evers. I have a question. So in section 9.6, it only refers to dual credit courses. Do we need to add AP, IB, and ACE in that sentence? Or are they covered someplace else? It didn't really talk about those with the additional weighting being treated like the dual credit courses.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. It does specify multiple dual credit courses, but it is in fact any accelerated courses and/or exams. So that would be consistent with section 9.4.3, which states students participating in multiple accelerated courses. So we can make that change.
Thank you.
All right, if there's no other questions on section 9. Section 10 is just a clarification. This is a current business practice that a student that has a bank score must meet FAE requirements in the year that he or she was assessed and met traditional FAE requirements in his or her 10th grade year. So a student could actually take an end-of-course assessment in the spring or fall semester, the year that they bank the assessment. The student would then need to meet traditional FAE schedule, which is full academic year, in their 10th grade year for that banked course to be effective and count in accountability. So that again, current business practice, this just needs to be clarified in the business rules. Does anybody have any questions about that? Okay, section 11, 12, and 13 are regarding our federal identifications. So there's 3 federal identifications that are required. That's CSI, TSI, and ATSI. The clarifications in these business rules just update the business rules to make them consistent with our federally approved ESSA state plan. We've had some amendments as a result of the pandemic. We've also had some amendments to those identifications based on feedback from the U.S. Department of Education. So just some clarifications and updates in those sections 11, 12, and 13. Are there any questions regarding those sections? Okay, and then I think the last one is section 22. That's schools without tested subjects or grades. We're adding section 22.4 to address charter schools. We recognize that as we add charter schools each year with different grade configurations, that we could get to a point where we need to assign letter grades to charter schools that may not have tested subject or grades. So we want to do this consistent with how we treat other schools in the state. And section 22.4, you'll see, is consistent with 22.1 for elementary and middle schools. That just says that if the school does not have a required grade level, that the scores from the schools in the next higher grade level and the tested subject within the same served area as the charter school. So that's within the boundaries of the local education agency with which the charter school operates, would be applied back to the student's school of origin. In order for the scores to be applied, the student must meet FAE at the lower grade school, the current school, and if there's a gap in years, anywhere in the served area for the years in between. So this would be consistent with current business practices for regular public schools that don't have tested grades, just to add in charter schools. Are there any questions about that section? Okay, if there are no other questions regarding these, I will yield back to the chair.
All right, thank you, Mr. Burrows. At this time, I will entertain a motion to submit a request to the State Board of Education to begin the Administrative Procedures Act, APA, process to revise Mississippi Admin Code 7-24, Mississippi Public School Accountability Standards 2023, specifically the business rules of the Mississippi Statewide Accountability System. And this is with the change that was suggested for item 9.6 regarding adding other accelerated courses. As you make a motion, please identify yourself for the record. May I have a motion, please?
So moved, Tyler Hansford.
Thank you. And may I have a second?
Kelly Barfield, I'll second.
Thank you. Is there any discussion before we vote? Right? Then all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Right, thank you, the motion carries. And we are on to item 6, which is an action item. The consideration of a waiver request from Itawamba County School District to process standard 2.1, which is principal duties, of the Mississippi Public School Accountability Standards 2023 for school year 2023-24. Dr. Malone will be presenting this information.
Yes, you have in your backup materials a request from Itawamba School District for a principal to do some additional duties, specifically driving a bus because they are short on bus drivers. And they have been in contact with our Office of Pupil Transportation to see how they can help with getting them some more bus drivers to correct this or to help them out there. So, but they did want to go through the formal process of asking for a waiver to get them through the end of the year by allowing their principal to do some bus driving.
All right, thank you. Are there any questions or discussions to Dr. Malone about this issue? All right, if not, then I will entertain a motion to consider a waiver of process standard 2.1 principal duties of the Mississippi Public School Accountability Standards 2023 for school year 2023-2024. Please identify yourself as you make the motion. May I have a motion, please?
Motion, L. Burton, Brad Stevens.
All right, I had Brad Stevens made the motion. May I have a second?
Second, Lauren Bailey.
Thank you, Dr. Bailey. And is there any discussion? All right, if not, then all those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you. The motion carries. And as mentioned earlier, we are not going into section 7 for the legislative update since Spidey could not attend this morning. So we're on to item 8, which is other business with Dr. Malone.
Thank you. Before we move forward, Mr. Stevens did join. Mr. Stevens, we need you to state your location for our records. You cut out. Could you say it again? Smithville, Mississippi. Okay. And I have in my notes that he joined during item 4, the discussion at approximately 8:47 a.m. Did want to take a moment to introduce one of our new commission members. You probably heard a name called out that you haven't heard before. Ms. Patrice Guilfoyle has joined the commission as a non-educator. Her name is probably familiar to some of you. She used to be our communications director here at the Department of Education, but I will yield it to her to let her tell you a little bit more about herself.
Thanks, Joanne. It's sort of like the mob, when you think you're out, they pull you back in. I am a resident of Madison, Mississippi. My children are in the Germantown zone, which is growing by leaps and bounds in Gluckstadt. And so I have a very high interest in public schools. They're very important to me. I'm a big believer in public schools. I have a daughter who's, I've got a wide stance of children. I have a daughter who's a third grader who's about to take her third grade test in a couple of weeks. I have a 10th grader, currently at Germantown High School. He has recently accepted an invitation to attend the Mississippi School of the Arts, so we're kind of excited about that, in the visual arts program. And I have a graduate of Germantown High School who's currently a freshman at Delta State University in their aviation program, so just happy to be a part of the commission.
Thank you. We appreciate your willingness to serve. Also, just letting everyone know, Miss Jan Vaughn has resigned from the commission. She is no longer a board member, so she could no longer serve in that capacity. So that is another position that we will be trying to fill in the upcoming months. The only other thing was just a reminder that we have the next commission meeting on Thursday, June the 6th. And that's all that I had. Does anybody have any questions?
All right, well, thank you very much, and welcome to Ms. Guilfoyle. Good to see you on the commission. And so at this time, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. May I have a motion, please?
Orlando, so moved.
Second,
Thank you,
Tyler
Dr.
Hansford.
All right, thank you, Dr. Hansford. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No, all right, if not, the motion carries. We stand adjourned at 8:57 a.m. Thank you all, and we'll see you in June.